Yeah, let's just get into a discussion about the YCS. Maybe we'll clip this. We'll put it on the Clips channel or something. This past weekend was the Columbus YCS, and I was there. I'm going to tell not only, my uh, experience with the format and the games that I played. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Columbus as an entity. And I do want to just let you all know, I appreciate all of you that came up to me. Every one of these events, it's always so wonderful to meet so many members of the community and so many people who say stuff like, oh, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Watching your videos. I have really developed a community as a result of this game. Every YCS, there's one or two people that are just antisocial to the point of me never wanting to go outside again. They'll come up and say some ridiculous nonsense. Usually, you get maybe one an event. I got a ton of them at Columbus, and I think it's because Columbus is the weirdest city I've ever been in my life. There is something in the fucking water. All the people that we brought to play, had something strange happen in bracket, or an opponent that just has never entered a social contract with anyone. It was really, really strange. Very odd. Is that why you were so miserable on XD Everything app? No, that was because of my performance. So let's talk about two things here. First off, we'll talk about, I guess, the ostensibly important format in Advanced. I think we can all agree at this point that Advanced is just a sideshow to the real format, Genesis. In case you aren't familiar, this event was won by Jesse Cotton, who openly spoke about on Twitter how he was just showing up to have fun. Well, big surprise. If you take the event even remotely seriously, you can show up to have fun and still win the entire thing. I don't know why people are talking to me about Fraud Advanced being the more important, more skillful format when a YouTuber can show up with no prep and win with a pet deck, Draco Tail in this case, that is otherwise not remotely represented in the top 16. I mean, whatever, I hope you all are having fun in your for fun format while the real boys play Genesis. Anyway, if you got to watch that best of 3, it was just a testament to the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so much better if there is no time rules involved. Holy shit. We were watching that being like, can you imagine if this went to time in game 1 and it was just the double loss final? Holy shit. Not to say that the current time rules are so bad, that it causes Yu-Gi-Oh! To be bad, but it really is wonderful watching an untimed match. It's making me think we need best of one. Anyway, this is Jesse's list, and it's just so funny. It's, of course, a really good list. You're playing as many of the good cards as you're allowed. And then it's a list with branded in its name, so it's got to have 15 one-ofs. But what I like more than anything else is that it's just incredibly tight. There was a moment where you had 2 Arthalion on board, and I was like, holy shit, it really is the 3rd Arthalion that gets you. Love this list. But huge shouts out also to Lucas Sacco, who played out of his fucking mind all weekend on stream. Even after the finals, was on Twitter immediately being like, actually, all 3 of those games were winnable from me, and just detailing every point. It was incredible. And importantly as well, I think he took it kind of hard. I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I think, going back and recognizing all those games had lines that won, kind of fucked him up. And, obviously, I don't think he's a dude that gets discouraged, but he put on such a masterclass in so many of the on-stream matches. It's rough to see someone end up in that position after playing so well all weekend. Man, imagine, Jesse Cotton being your final boss, though. Fuck me, dude. Especially on the Draco Tail buff. Someone showed me this, by the way, that really got my dick hard. Click Jesse Cotton's name on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Look at his tops recently. Draco Tail, 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 Ryziel. It's crazy. The last time he was this dominant was Tearlament, and then that short period of time where he topped 6 events on Unchained in a row. But holy shit. It's crazy to think, by the way, that obviously he's crazy and has won a whole bunch of events on a million different decks. But Jesse on Thunder Dragon, Tearlament, Unchained, or Draco Tail is just fucking unbelievable. Why is there a random Marincess top? Marincess, man. It's a good deck. At the Master Duel World Championship 2023. Listen, we were playing what we could. That was his B deck. He's now at what, 9 YCS wins, which I think puts him higher than anyone. 10 if you count the UDS win as a win, but don't. Undisputed UDS championship, obviously, incredibly important. Really, really incredible event. I also did appreciate Triff going to Europe after all those European players told him in their disgusting, sub-American language, they want to put U's in color, that he was bad at Yu-Gi-Oh! And then he just topped like it was nothing. No big deal. Also, oh my god, what is going on with Cool Tune? Everyone talking about how Cool Tune was the best deck in the room, and to be clear, it was, but not by so much that other things can compete. Look at these other incredible decks that made it into Top Cut. For me, the story of the weekend was Dooms. I'm really upset that it didn't have a better showing in Top 8, because I really did. This list out of Sam is just fantastic. It's exceptionally clean. And we are going to have to ban Fallen of Albaz. There is no other way around it. We are going to have to ban Fallen of Albaz. Oh my god. Yeah. All right, but now that we've spoken about the side event, let's talk about the main event, which of course was the Genesis YCS. So they're categorizing the pre-YCS Columbus Genesis events as proto-YCSs. So this was the first one, technically. And I have to say, super thrilled with it. Let me talk a little bit about my tournament run, because I think it will be at least insightful as a laundry list of things not to do. All right? So, so I did not do well at this event. This was the worst I've ever done at a competitive event in my career. We will get to how things fell apart for me, but first I want to talk about the people for whom things did not fall apart. Okay? So, these are the top 8 decks, and there was a weird discrepancy about this top 16 thing. I posted that GMX made top 8. It did not. This person was guaranteed a top 8, but unfortunately fucked up in such a way that it cut them out of top 8. They forgot to turn their match slip in the allotted amount of time, so what was a win for them became a double loss, which was rough, but also applied a round 1 loss to their this Doomsy player. It says Doomsy. This is not a Doomsy deck. It's fucking it's a 4. It's a fucking 4 deck. And I think did them a disservice in Top Cut as well. But I want to talk specifically about the strategies that were topping. First and foremost, Mimighoul. Huge showing for the deck. Here's actually Peeps in top 16 here. Really, really fantastic work. I think this is the Shifter deck of the format. And while this one has allotted to play fucking Droll and Lockbird over Shifter, Jordan's was playing Shifter. And of course, this is a deck that can play Under the Boy. So this deck specifically is designed to use the Mimighouls to activate Bot Herder, which if you're unfamiliar with reads Win the Game. I like the Lyralisk version, which also gets to play Life Hack, the funniest card of all time, which I am familiar with because we keep doing that video with Farfo where we open up the staple pack where this just wins the game. This is an exceptionally funny deck, empowered by Treasure Panther. Super hilarious card that just goes plus 15. Bot Herder, which reads Win the Game. Reverse Reuse. Reverse Reuse. They're putting shit from a butt in the deck. Outside of Mimighoul, the deck that had the best showing was RDA. And I'm willing to say I was wrong about RDA in my video where I call it kind of mid. I was not familiar with the lines that people were doing in Genesis. But I will say this is pretty similar to the list that I played. The difference, I guess I would say, is they are playing Chaos Dragon Levianeer as a target for the Crimson King. not Crimson King, Crimson Blade Dragon, which I thought wasn't good enough to justify doing that line, but it is. It just randomly spins one card, right? Of course, because it's RDA, the deck has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 one-ofs, 6 one-ofs, 7, 8, 9 one-ofs, 10 one-ofs, and a couple of two-ofs as well. But the gist of the thing is that the only card you really care about is finding Power of Ice Dragon. This deck is really, really cool. I'm super happy to see it do well. I love that this was playing Hypernova and Nova and Supernova. They were like, I'm going into a Nova. You're going to watch me do it. It has a little bit of room in the extra, so you might as well, you know. Loved not only that this was the winning deck, because I think it showcases a big difference from Genesis to Advanced in terms of what deck is playable, but I also love that this deck has made a couple of choices that I think are really, really good for this Genesis format. Most important one here is the Book of Eclipses in main. I think this was the breakout card from the tournament, and I'm not surprised to see it in a winning list. Secondly, I liked that the Duelist in finals narrated their plays. And as a result, like, you could just watch this to get a combo tutorial of Red Dragon. Unfortunately, finals was not particularly interesting because while game 1, you know, they comboed off and then this player tried to chew through and couldn't. Game 2, the Radiant Typhoon player just straight up bricked, which is like, you know, it is what it is, but when it is, it is. This Voiceless Voice deck, I don't understand at all. It's just Voiceless Voice Regenesis, and it is so close to the deck you can't fuck up. You know, it's on the main deck, Fleur-de-Lis the Thunderbolt, the Royal Archfiends for the double Regenesis Archfiend. Very funny stuff. But they've supplemented with it with a good archetype. It's like low, 3 Saphira, 2 Skull Guardian, a Sauravis, which is like, sure, fine, I suppose. Non-fusion area and soundproofed in the board, by the way. Get used to not seeing those around. This Dooms list is from Dwayne Eric Howell Jr., known for playing combo slop, and look how sloppy this combo is. It is 4s. The deck just makes 4s, and maybe the 4s go into Graflario, but sometimes they go into Merrymaker into Sargass to insulate your plays. Sometimes they go into Galaxy Photon Dragon to get you access to a Tachyon Primal, which gets you 7th Tachyon, and of course the Tachyon Transmigration out of the board. Not super surprised to see this line. This is something I was experimenting with until really late in the format, which I'll expound a little bit upon more when we talk about my run. But I just love this fucking slop. The Miracle Ejectors in order to send the Neospatian Aqua Dolphin to the yard. Just so stupid. Really dumb. But good enough. Really unfortunate about getting a game loss in Top Cut, because this could have gone all the way, man. This is really just the SLOP. Other deck I want to highlight is the KT list. I would be happy to see this list totally excised from the format. But 40 on the Rotary, Rose Whip currently free. Because Rotary's 40, you can't play any good hand traps, so they're playing Heralds and Mudora, so you can pitch them off the Heralds. And Vsauce Samsara in the main, because you want to go into Amritara in order to beat like board wipes with a reframing. This is painful for sure. DD Designator in the board, by the way. This is painful for sure, but good enough, you know? And I can't wait for this GMX list to drop. When this does, please everyone just ping me. Oh. Really, really cool stuff. Speaking of GMX, have fun with that video. Oh, did you put together a really good one? It's like a 2021 TMT. Oh, good. Yeah. At 6:20, she ate 5 ounces. Okay, let's talk about what I did. So I brought Clown to the event. This was a mistake. It was not correct. But how did I arrive at this mistake? Well, I tested a lot on Omega, and it was doing exceptionally well on Omega. This is, I think, card for card, the list I played. I liked pretty much everything here. I felt like the main deck was perfect. There were a couple of slots I wasn't sold on in the side. Then I rolled up and got absolutely butt blasted. And how did that happen? Well, a couple of things. First off, I do want to say I think Clown Clan is not a bad deck. There weren't any of them in the top 32, I think. I think Dyer got like top 64, which is something. But I think there is something here. The line is exceptionally powerful and does... Yeah, there was one in the top 32. My bad. The line was exceptionally powerful, and it does kind of win the game. She got 31st. Bam. Okay, that's her then. But, well, let me roll through it. I was winning a lot of games on Omega Ladder. But Omega Ladder is a ladder. You know, you are going to be playing against individuals that are just, and this is going to sound, I guess I would say arrogant of me, that are less good than you are. You know what I mean? And against those players, you will probably win the game irrespective of the deck you're on. And so by that token, I sort of tricked myself into thinking this deck was quite good because I was like picking up games. That said, I think there are a lot of advantages to this deck. The first is that it eats Shifter alive. You don't give a shit about Shifter. These guys care about being tributed. So while you miss out on a couple of things, it is not a big deal. It is completely fine to be in a position where you get shifted. Like, you don't get the Soiree Operations banished to normal, but you do get the Bianca Viso normal, so it has to be shifter plus targeted negation for Bianca Viso, which is hard to get to. The second is that it is exceptionally good against Nibiru decks, right? These guys don't care if they're being tributed for a tribute summon or just tributed. So there is not a really elegant place for your opponent to nib you, and frequently you can hold back a Malar Barisma in order to play around Nibiru to just fire it and get a plus off of a Nibiru activation, right? So I made the conscious choice that I expected Shifter to be the card of the tournament. I thought the format was wide enough and Shifter had good enough coverage that there would be a ton of people playing Shifter, and as a result, I wanted to play a deck that didn't lose to Shifter and had a line through Nibiru. So that's what I expected. Now, let's go back to this top 16 here. You'll notice that none of these are Shifter decks. Mimighoul can play Shifter, but the one in top 16 doesn't. Jordan's does, and Doomsy can play Shifter, but this one did not as well. So, you know, I zigged when I should have zagged with respect to that. And this deck is not without weaknesses. The big weakness of this deck was it has a really, really hard time against decks that are playing the Heralds. It's got a telegraphed choke point in Clown Crew Flare. If you orange light this, it can be really problematic unless you natty draw Clown Crew Rehearsal. And if they green light Clown Crew Rehearsal, you lose the game on the spot. So I felt the Herald decks were going to be less popular than decks that were playing Shifter Nibiru. And if you look at this, we have Cool Tune as a Herald deck, but that is it. So I wasn't super off, right? Like, it wasn't that far off. But there were enough of them that I did run into Herald in Swiss. In fact, I ran into Herald for my first 4 rounds. And that basically sealed it. Almost every loss I had in the first 4 rounds of Swiss was to a Herald. You know, it's just, it was rough. It was really rough. So, I guess what I'd say is, what I learned from this event is, and then one last thing I want to say about this deck before we move off of it is not a deck that gives you a lot of agency, right? Like, it is a deck that executes a combo and then the combo wins you the game. Like, it doesn't really give you a lot of opportunities for, like, outplays, if that makes sense. In the same way something like Red Dragon Archfiend would. So, as a result, I put myself in a position where I was like, I want to see this half of the metagame, the Shifter decks, the Nibiru decks, and not this half, the Heralds. And I am trusting my deck to make the plays for me, and the logical conclusion of that my opponents will be more skilled than me, right? You play a deck that doesn't give you agency if you expect your opponents are going to be better at the format than you are, because then you have to make fewer choices and can screw up less. I don't want to sound mean to my opponents, but several of them several of the ones I beat, I was like, they're missing triggers, they're misapplying this board state. If I had a deck with more agency, I feel like I would be ahead, and of course I hit the wrong half. So moving forward, what I think I need to understand is if I am going to spend a lot of time labbing a deck, I need to ensure that I am rewarded for that time by picking a deck that has outplay potential, if that makes sense. And I definitely need to not be making sweeping metagame assumptions about, like, I expect everyone to be on Shifter, I expect everyone to be on Nibiru, in a format that, given the top 8, was as wide as Genesis was. Like, it would have been really easy never to hit a Shifter deck because people were playing a lot of fucking decks. So those are my takeaways from the event. It was a totally embarrassing result, though, again, worst of my competitive career, and I really don't fault the deck at all. I think it was a bad metagame call on my behalf. A list that did not play to my strengths and had clear weaknesses, which people exploited. And everyone who had the Heralds figured out the choke point immediately. Even people who had never read the Clown Crew cards, they were like, oh, the +1, I got it. So that's how I feel about the format. I looking forward to Genesis. People are always looking to me to be like, hey, do you think X should be pointed? Do you think Y should be pointed? I guess I'll give a little bit of an opinion on that. I did say this deck is inconsistent and bad. Yeah, I mean, I played to resolve the inconsistency, and I did not brick in Swiss as a result. It just has a couple of really miserable counters. Do you denounce Genesis? I do. I do denounce Genesis. Looking at the decks here, obviously I think Illusion Gate should be pointed a little. I generally don't have a problem with Illusion Gate. I think that it's like a totally fine card to be a part of the format, but it does seem a little ridiculous that it's a, like, straight up none. You know what I mean? I would not be surprised to see a Zaylin up as both a hit to Red Dragon Archfiend and to some builds of Cool Tune. You'll see that the Cool Tune list that I'm hovering right now is not playing it because the points are already spread thin. But it would certainly help. I think a lot of the, surprisingly, I would have said this before I looked at this list, a lot of the generic 4 options should be hit. Almost specifically here, I'm talking about surfacing Big Jaws. This card is so incredibly strong for so many decks, and I cannot believe it is just straight up legal with no point cost associated with it. And then, I don't need to be the one to tell you. I think they should point Di-Fi at all. Ideally pretty high, but at all. In terms of cards I think have, like, a misapplied point cost, I think that Droll and Lockbird actually needs to go up. The fact that the Mimigul deck was able to afford 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird plus a Zeus is pretty ridiculous. We can correct that by giving, like, Flower 5 points or something, or Dungeon 5 points, but we could also just move Droll to 50. And And I would like to see Shifter probably moved up to 15, though obviously it's not even represented in the top 8, so who's to say if it will or not. Finally, I think these RT cards are just not all the way done. It's really irritating that Eldam's the one that has points associated with it when Eldam is the one you can get off of Noble Knight Shield Bearer. Like, awesome, dude. I think probably I'd like to see like Swen receive some amount of points, or Crocia maybe. Like Swen to 5 would make me quite happy. So that's where I land on Genesis. Now let's talk about the tournament itself. So this is the part of the recap video where I talk about my experience with it, and it's mostly just going to be a how do I even describe this? A parasocial story time hour where I talk about my day. You know what I'm talking about? So let's turn on the Swiss train. So I left Friday morning, and Columbus is a weird amount of time away for me. It's like 6 or 7 hours, but that's just about at my limit when it comes to air travel. I'm like, if I drive to BWI, then I get on the plane, then I do the plane, then I deplane, then I wait for a cab, then I go to the Airbnb. That's basically 6 or 7 hours anyway. That's my whole day. So I might as well drive and just, not pay as much. But the toilets at BWI, I know. Anyway, some people from my locals offered to carpool, and I was like, I can do that, sure. So they picked me up at like 6 in the morning so we could get there at a reasonable time. I am not up at 6 in the morning. So I was like, I'll get all my work done the night before, I'll go to bed early, then I'll go. That's not what happened. I started getting my work done, and it became immediately clear I was not going to get my work done in time to get a reasonable amount of rest. So I just kept working until 6. And that was not a good idea. I haven't pulled an all-nighter in like years. So I mean, I pull all-nighters for the 24-hour streams, but so I didn't get any sleep, and I was like, I'll sleep in the car. And I'll tell you this, I did sleep in the car. I was able to sleep in the car. It wasn't great sleep, but I did sleep in the car. We made it to Columbus, and I was like, okay, I'll hang out with some people. I'll like spend some time Friday mingling, of course, registering, and then I will collapse. All right. So we get into Columbus, and if you've never been to Columbus, Ohio, it is a goofy-ass city. Me and Danny the whole weekend were like, this is the most goofy-ass city we've ever been in. It is really a place out of time. The convention center was just a big liminal space. It looked like the back rooms in a lot of ways. Firstly, because it was like freakish, fluorescent light, low hum, but also because geometrically, it just doesn't really make sense. It's like miles long, and there's all these like weird fucking tunnels and shit just jutting out everywhere, and 40-foot tall ceilings. It was just totally strange. Anyway, we were so Danny a couple of days early got me a hotel, and the hotel we were in was actually 2 hotels owned by the same company. One normal hotel and one loft hotel. And the loft hotel, it put you in lofts. And do you know what a loft is? Because they don't. They used loft to mean hotel. It was just a normal hotel. It was really strange, but they called it a loft. So we get in, I put my stuff down in the goofy loft, and we go to walk to the convention center. And it's an 8-mile walk uphill. And on the way there, we pass the head. Now, I posted this on Twitter. I guess I'll just go to Twitter for a visual aid. But you all, if you have been to Ohio, you probably have seen, or the Columbus, Ohio convention center, you've probably seen the head. This is the head. Hello. Well, oh, Jillian has a message for chat.
Hey, chat. So the food's here, by the way. I'm gonna go get some work done. Can y'all remind Joseph at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? No, it's not standard. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, an hour and a half from now. Tell Joseph to come quietly remind me to stop working and eat. Thank you. Someone was in Goofy, Ohio all weekend.
Okay, all right. Anyway, this is the head. So what the head is a simulated screen upon which people post pictures of heads. And it was like shuffling through heads. It's really strange. I did not like it. Anyway, we continue walking and realize we are not the only people at this hotel. So from Friday to Saturday, the hotel was also home to the UFL, that's the football league, a furry convention, a geography/history bee, and the YCS. So we're walking and encounter all four of these groups in sequence. First up, the UFL is like 300, like 7-foot tall, 400-pound guys. And they're just sort of grunting in the halls. Like, I'm it was really weird because like a bunch of people were like, let's get through. And they just like weren't used to the concept of a hallway. Like they were like, and people were like, let's go. All right. Excuse me, sir. Let's go. And so there had to be kind of a line carved through them. Bro, it's their job not to let you through. Joseph, that's called CTE. Okay, well, that's mean. Anyway, so we get through the fucking linebackers, and suddenly there are 120 like autistic children there for the history and geography bee. And let me tell you right now, I don't know if any of you were geography bee kids growing up, but these kids did not want to be geography bee kids. They obviously wanted to be anywhere else. They wanted to be like playing Game Boy or something. They were the most disappointed looking, dejected group of 8-year-olds I'd ever seen. We watched a woman grab a child by their collar and run with them to like a panel or something. Can you believe that? We were like, what is going on here, man? It's a history geography bee, of course, but there were also vendors set up who were selling like, I guess, flashcards or something. It was crazy, man. It was very weird. Okay. So then we get past that and it's the furries. And the thing about furries is every time you see a furry, you're like, oh, well, of course they're a furry. All right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying every time I see a furry, I go, oh, well, they're a furry. So we're walking by all these furries, and it's the end of the day, and they are fucking cooked. They've got like their heads off. They're like sweating profusely because they've been in the suit all day. And I'm like, oh man, I hope these people are staying hydrated. They were sweltering, dog. Okay, so we get to the actual event. We get in there, and it was generally fine. I had to get like 4 cards, and 3 of them were illusion gates. There must have been a goddamn run on illusion gates because no one had illusion gates. None of the vendors had illusion gates. They were like, we'll restock tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like desperately calling my friends. I was like, does anyone have spare illusion gates I can borrow? Oh my God. It was a fucking nightmare. Anyway, I end up getting everything but the illusion gates. And I'm like, I will just get them tomorrow morning, which thank God I was able to do. But because they were like, we'll restock. And I'm like, you better restock. You better fucking restock. Anyway. Day 1 was pretty uneventful. The funny part was Genesis used Neuron for the first time. And let me tell you, as someone actually doing the event, it was good. And I understand the need for both Neuron and paper pairings, but it kind of defeats the purpose when you can't report on Neuron. Anyway, The Neuron part of it went smoothly. The downside was that no one has used Neuron in America yet. So 90% of the people who were there had not linked Neuron to their Konami ID, did not know how to register a deck through Neuron, and had to be told how to do so. So there was a line for check-in for people who had done Neuron already and had registered like a couple of days ago, and that line took maybe 20, 30 minutes to get through. Then there was a second line to the right that was about 4 hours long. That was people who were getting up to a booth where basically a Konami staffer, bless their fucking heart, was standing there, and their job was to tell every person how to use Neuron, like in order. It was like, oh man. There was like a fix that would like link the two of them. It was rough. Whoever that Konami employee was, give them 4 times as much money as they made. But anyway, I'm sitting in line and I look over. There's Doug in the dumbass line for people who've never learned Neuron before. Oh, man. Okay. So, day one, you know, we're chilling. I say every time that I love everyone who comes up to me. I appreciate it. That very seldom do I get uncomfortable interactions. Because this took place in Goofy, Ohio, I had a lot of weird, uncomfortable interactions. And by the way, if you are asking yourself in your head, was my interaction with Joseph uncomfortable? It was not. If you have the capacity to understand that you may have made someone uncomfortable, you are not the person I'm talking about. Because these people were totally oblivious. It was like 3 or 4 people that I was like, oh boy, I hope that never repeats. You ignored me the entire weekend. I did not see you. Well, were you there? I also didn't get to see GCD because GCD was there. Yeah, I was a combo breaker. I was lying. Die. Kind of glad I didn't get to see you so I wouldn't do this second guessing. I'm fucking pissed I didn't see GCD. Everyone was like, have you seen GCD? I was like, no. Ugh. Anyway. So, we go out for dinner, and in the process of going out for dinner, this guy stops me, and he's like, holy shit, Joseph. And I'm like, yeah? And he's like, I didn't know you were a furry. And I'm like, sorry? He's like, yeah, what are you doing at the furry convention? And I was like, I'm here for the YCS. This guy goes, there's a YCS this weekend? I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, you know, I watch Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm here for the furry convention. I was like, oh, okay, well, have a good weekend. That guy was a riot. That guy was fucking funny. But I was like, no, I'm here for the YCS. You know, not knocking the furries. I'll bring back the stoat, man. I'll bring back the stoat. Got your ass? Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, so we go out to dinner. We have a decent time. You know, we're chilling. Saturday rolls around. So Saturday I eat shit, but I played out every round. I was like, I came here to play Genesis. I'm going to fucking play Genesis. And I had a good time. All my opponents were super respectful. I didn't have any weirdness happen at all. It was all totally normal. And I chatted up everyone as much as I could. And a lot of the people I spoke to in Genesis, you know, I know Genesis is not a great vehicle for getting people back into Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll be completely honest. I know Genesis is not a great vehicle for getting people back into Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of people I talked to were like, I got back because of Genesis. I was like, really? I was like, are you kidding me? Actually? But yeah, no, it was, one of my opponents was on Monarch, and they were like, I literally came back from 06 because I heard you could play Monarch in this format. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, you actually missed a whole wave of Monarch. Like, there was a lot more Monarchs that came out since the last time you were here. A bunch of people I talked to were like, I came back for the Jack Atlas cards, which is crazy. I didn't know there were so many Jack Atlas fanboys. But it was good. I do want to, one final thing about Genesis that I do want to say is I think Genesis in a way that Advanced doesn't, is currently still a format where deck building matters a lot. Now, I don't want to imply that deck building doesn't matter in Advanced, because of course it does. In fact, you could argue it matters more than choices you make in the game still. But in an era where deck lists are so available, it is not hard to get a list that's like 95% correct from any old asshole. If you pay for one of the Metafis, you can get like probably a 1 or 2 card differential from what, Triff or Jesse or Lukasako is playing the night before the event. Are you going to perform as well as they do? Are you going to know why every card is in every slot? Maybe not, But in Genesis, there just aren't people on Metafy, right? It's just a smaller community. I'm not saying this is an intrinsic benefit of the format. I think it's a result of the format's youth and the fact that it is currently so unsolved. But, like, you have to make a bunch of huge sweeping decisions, like, months in advance. And as a result, people really are trying a lot of interesting shit that I think is really great. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are just generally not very good at deck building. Coming from like a Magic background, the amount of deck building we do is inconsequential to the amount of deck building that goes on in a game like Magic the Gathering. So it is nice to see a format in which deck building skill is really rewarded. Like that fucking Doomsday pile. I bet you money that duelist spent a lot of time working on the specifics of that strategy, and it paid off. It obviously paid off. If anyone is going to do Genesis Metafy Andy, it's going to be Peeps. Peeps, you should do it. Peeps, that's how you're going to make your millions. Actually do that. Actually do that. Fine? Yeah, actually do that. Anyway. I played out a bunch of rounds of Genesis. I had a great time. I did write what I played against. Let me pull it up real quick. So remember, I said I was scared of Herald decks. My first 4 rounds were Gem Knight, Cool Tune, Pearly, and then Monarch, KT. So I played against all Herald decks and Monarch, which is like, well, oh, man. Did I say Fluffle Erasure? Oh, I said Gem Knight. It was a pile. It was Gem Knight, Fluffle. It was all the stuff. All the stuff was in it. Anyway, but I had fun in all those games. Even the Monarch games were like really, really different. One person was on Domain. One person was on nothing. Like they were playing just like powerful staples. They were on Pog. And one person was on Zaborg. I got Zaborged. I was like, what? Okay. The Earth Fairy pile? Earth Fairy pile, I guess I would call it, yeah. But like Earth Fairy to me implies like Dolce and the Vernisylphs. And it wasn't that. It was Gem Knight and Fluffles and the non-archetypal monsters used by Ishizu Ishtar in the Duel Monsters anime. He apparently used 1 Miller. Yup. 50 points on a Kelbeck. Anyway. So, outside of the game sucking and totally exposing me as a hack fraud, the testing Discord got a bunch of people into day 2. Peeps made a deep day 2 run. Doug made day 2 as well. And it was super cool to see so many people do well. What did we do Saturday night? I think Saturday night we went to, so the way Columbus is structured, there's one street full of fun stuff to do called High Street. And we went to a bar on High Street that was nice, and then went to bed. Sunday I woke up, I went to go play side events. Danny had to leave super early, so he was all weekend filming footage for his series where he tries to win a giant card by just using tickets, and that was cool. It's cool to see him excited about something like that. The advanced format and Genesis format top cuts were super awesome. I'm so glad they have people announcing them, even for Genesis. Like, that's so important. I am a little discouraged by the production, and I don't want to come down hard on the production because I know the people there work really hard on it, and I know from the perspective of someone who's run a lot of these productions, a lot can go wrong that just isn't your fault, and you just have to own it. But they put up the Richmond results when the Genesis results went up, and so for a couple of hours, everyone was like, "Oh, fuck, Draco Tail topping again," and it's like, ugh. There were a couple of really big fuck ups on stream. It went down during Genesis finals. It was like, come on, man. What's going on here? With respect to the stream itself, also, holy shit, people online were so mad all the time that they deigned to show Genesis matches. It was crazy. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. I blame Farfa. No fucking duh. Coder and Farfa's stream was just the fucking Genesis hate hour. It was crazy. Whenever there's a KT mirror or a branded mirror, well, that's fine. That's okay. But God forbid we show a Genesis game with two Mimighoul duelists next to you. Oh, I don't want to see the Mimi. Why would I ever want to see the Mimighoul mirror? Oh, nothing could ever be intricate about the Mimighoul mirror. I don't know, man. And I'm pretty sure if it wasn't Genesis, it would have just been a camera of the crowd. I have to see Guess the Card. I can't see a Genesis game. Show me Guess the Card. I don't know. Oh, my God. And the other thing that irritated me was seeing people post every Genesis match. They'd be like, oh, my God. Do you guys understand that the 7th place Brazilian Nationals player is playing the 3rd place Croatian Nationals regional runner-up at table 110, and we're watching a Mimighoul game? And it's like, yeah, dude, all the pros come to YCSs. They're going to play each other in late rounds. They wouldn't get shown anyway. Like, what are you talking about? Like, can you believe Jesse and Jeff Jones played each other in Swiss and we didn't get to see it? We saw one of them on stream already, so they wouldn't have been the feature. Do you know how this goes? Not everything is zero-sum with a Genesis game. We could have fucking gotten universal healthcare, but they had to show a fucking Mimighoul mirror. I don't know, man. I don't. You and Peeps got rage baited hard. Is it bait if it's all they talk about on stream? Is it bait if it's all they talk about on stream? You got baited. They were baiting by holding the opinion genuinely and talking about it for 6 hours straight. That's not rage bait. That's just rage. Oh, my God. God forbid we see something besides Rotary. Oh, my God. Anyway. So Sunday rolls around. We're hanging out. We're just playing side events. I'm having a chill down tempo time. And after Top Cut results came out, Peeps didn't make top 8. He was 10th. Rough stuff. Only again, we keep ended up on the X3 bubble, but his breakers were a lot better than mine were at Richmond, but it still wasn't enough. There were a couple of X3s that made it this time too. Doug got 17th, which is rough, but good enough. And the prizing this time was the same as the prizing for a YCS, so they got some crazy shit too. Anyway, after that, we hung around for a little until side events ended. Then we headed out to go have fun. And we were trying to find a place to eat in Columbus, and the second half of Columbus was so much weirder than the first. So the furry convention had ended, the geography bee had ended, the UFL had ended. In their place was... and someone has got to kind of explain this to me. What I can only describe as a fundamentalist Muslim like gathering. I don't know what it was exactly. The religious conference. Yeah, it was something. That's just Ohio. Oh, it was Goofy, Ohio. But it was like 400 guys in like full on prayer garb, and then a bunch of women in niqab, like walking around, like aimlessly trying to find the right room. They were bumping into 500 kids that had a graduation that day. So it was like a high school graduation. Oh man, it was really weird. So that's what replaced the furry convention. Goofy, Ohio, legitimately. So we we headed out and we were like, it was raining and we were like, oh, it's raining. We're like, let's go to the place across the street. It was the steakhouse that was way too expensive. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So instead we go to this restaurant that is on the 12th floor of like a normal building, like office spaces. You walk into like office spaces, you get on elevators, 12 floors up, there's a restaurant. But it was a very good restaurant. It was me and Peeps and Dyer. And we just started going online and baiting. We just started like, that's what I was posting. Like, someone was like, oh, Jesse Cotton. Who was it? Was it Gabriel Souse? It was Raphael Reich. Was like Jesse Cotton versus Jeff Jones, and we didn't get to see it. And I was like, we don't want to see what Jeff Groans and Jesse Washington. So it was like, why can't we see Triff versus Julian? Like, more like Julian versus shit gaming. We don't want to see it. More Mimigul mirrors. That was fun. We were posting the like, we don't want to see Draco Tail mirrors. Bring out Red Dragon Archfiend. I posted some stupid horseshit I don't remember. But we started drinking. We drank a little at that place, but it was pretty upscale. Not the kind of place you want to get trashed at, right? So the three of us hop in an Uber and we go to High Street. We go to this hole-in-the-wall pizza place. High Street is very interesting in Columbus because it's like very expensive restaurant, and then right next to it is a dive. And like I think the goal is you're supposed to like checkers it, where you go like very expensive restaurant, then dive, then very expensive restaurant, then dive, and like then you just start skipping to the dives, right? Like king me baby, and then you start going. So we go to a dive, we pick up Jaxel, Emperor Stove, and Nash, and Dyer, and Nash's girlfriend, Peeps' wife. And we're having a great time. We're having a good time. But as it gets later, the place fills the fuck up. It gets like exceptionally full. And because it's Goofy, Ohio, no one really knows how to order a drink. So I don't know. It was very weird. But we end up getting out of there. And after getting sufficiently sloshed, and we're like, let's go to another place. So the downside of it being really dense is that it's really really hot, and we're like, we want to go somewhere with outside seating. So we walk to a place. It's got outside seating. It's still kind of rainy, but I'm like, we can sit out in the rain a little. I'm like sweating. So we all get in, and we're like, it's not until we get a table I'm like, oh my god, this is a gay bar. It was just a gay bar. I'm like, wow, they're playing musicals on a big screen. Why is that, I wonder? It's a gay bar. So we were looking for a place that was open, and it said open and proud. And I'm like, why are they proud they're open this late? I mean, they should be, right? But we get into this gay bar, and we send Jordan to go get the drinks because he's the most attractive one, and they make the drinks stronger if Jordan buys them. So Jordan gets the drinks, and we're all laughing. We're having a good time. It's a nice bar, by the way. It is a good fucking spot. And this guy comes over to us and is like, I'm sorry, I think I watch you all on YouTube. And we were like, oh shit. And we were like, oh my God, are you here for the YCS? The guy was like, no, I'm just gay and I'm here. And we were like, okay, all right. And so we chatted with him. It was funny as hell. Was he a WotC fan? No. Do you know what he watched? He watches Jordan and Danny's meme review. He was like, I watch you guys make fun of Master Duel memes. It was unbelievable. We're like pissing ourselves. It was great. So at this point, there's another group of people from my local that I thought we were meeting up with. And I was like, hey, we're at a dive, you know, where are you guys at? They're like, we're also at a dive. We're at this place called Sloopy's, I think was the name of the place. They go, come to Sloopy's. And I go, oh yeah, I could make it down there. And then 5 minutes later, I get a text that says, do not come to Sloopy's. And I'm like, what happened? So they went into Sloopy's, and it was a bar that on a Sunday night on the busiest street in Columbus, Ohio, which is like being the most populous city in, you know, Oklahoma. The busiest street in Columbus, Ohio, there's like 6 people in. And they open the door, and everyone kind of looks at them as they open the door, and it's like, okay, all right. And that motley crew, I would say, has some homos in it. And so they're in the process of like getting drink orders, and they're like, the vibe here is really bad. They're like, the vibe here is really not good. Let's get a drink and leave. So they have a drink. They're leaving. On the way out, someone goes, a bunch of freaks, like kind of half mumbled under their breath. And so my friend Jack, fucking, bless his heart, opens the door and goes, hey, fuck you, shithead. And then they walk out, and then the guy walks out and goes, you're all a bunch of, and then says the F slur, but doesn't say it with his whole chest. They just start yelling at each other. And I'm like, how did you get to fucking hate crimed in Columbus, Ohio? And then so half of them were like, we're calling it a night. Half of them were like, we're not letting it end there. We're going to go to the gay bar. They end up at a different gay bar. I thought we were going to the same gay bar. They end up at a different gay bar. And they had a great time singing karaoke and shit. But after our gay bar, we go to a 4th location, which is like a psychedelic bar or something, which was also a great time. They had a claw machine that took all me money. And then the entire weekend, I had been talking about how much I wanted donuts. And so Jordan's wife, what a saint, found an all-night donut place, and we went and all got a half dozen donuts and a coffee, and I just did it, man. I fucking did it. And I went back to my loft, and I woke up the next day and some evil man had eaten all my donuts. Buckeye Donuts. Bumping because the meme review guy has been found. Holy shit, wait. Where is this post? Oh, I can't find it. Anyway. So I woke up way too early today. I got in a car with a hangover, and we drove home. He's in chat too. That's fucking amazing. It was awesome meeting you. We were fucking slosh. Yeah, I'll VIP them. Easy VIP. Holy fuck. Can they explain Sloopy's? I don't know if Sloopy's is a well-known anti-gay establishment, but they were very mean to my friends. Oh man. Anyway, yeah, that was the YCS. It is interesting. The YCS is where I make a deep run. I have almost nothing to report about the surrounding city, but the YCS is where I eat shit. I do get to at least experience the surrounding area, and you know, Columbus seems like it's a very weird town, but there were very bright spots. There were very bright spots. That gay bar was great. The bar we went after was great. Sloopy's not so good. We did not go to Dirty Frank's, no. All right, thus ends the YCS talk. Oh, let me show you some fucking insane thing that I found also. Let's see if I can find it. Fuck. Someone was selling a Chalice Lime Field Center. Let me see if I can find it. Saw this already in the Luke Von Karma stream. Did someone buy it? No! Here, I'll scroll back up because I know that Danny has it. Yeah, here it is. Danny found someone on eBay selling the Chalice Lime Field Center. Folks, I'm sorry. These are not worth $40. Chalice Lime. I get it, yeah. These are not worth $40. I will say there's still a couple of people. I signed an unsigned one at Columbus. I was like, wow, there's still people with these raw out there. The current going record is there is one person with a Chalice Lime Field Center that has been signed 9 times now. Ugh. Make an offer? Wait, hold up. I could buy it. Chalice Lime. This is uranium glass. I'm not finding it. Oh! We found it. Okay, hold up. I am going to buy it. I'm going to buy it right now. I'm literally buying it right now.